Hello and welcome! In this lecture we're going to set up some nice destructible crates. We can place them in the world, and with some grenades we can blow them up, and also when we destroy the crate we're going to update the pathfinding so the position becomes walkable. Okay, so first up let's make our crate. Let's create an empty new game object, call this the crate. Then for the visual, let's go into our polygon prototype, the asset pack that we imported in the beginning. Over here under prefabs, under props, we've got a whole bunch of things. Let's use over here the crate01. So just drag it as a child of the crate game object. Okay, there it is. Now on the visual, let's make this a bit bigger. So for the scale, let's put them all at 1.2. And then let's position it correctly. So on the parent game object, let's put the Y at 0. And let's pretty much just lift it up just enough. And also right now we can disable snapping. So on the scene view, let's click on the magnet icon, disable it. So let's push it just up. So about half the height, so by 0.6. Alright, so that's it. Now, if you want, like you saw for all the other assets on this asset pack, if you want, you can change the material for this crate. So let's go into the various materials that we have. And for this one, instead of default, let's go with this one, the texture 05. So this one is a nice orange, so a bit darker, a bit more different than the regular yellow. Okay. So here we have the crate. Now we're going to want to block pathfinding with this. So first of all, on the visual game object, over here let's just keep the visual, so let's get rid of the mesh collider. And instead, let's go into the parent crate game object. And in here, let's add a component. Let's add a box collider. Now we just need to move it and scale it just like the parent. So for the size, let's put it just like that one, so 1.2 all over, and lift it up on the Y by 0.6. Okay, so there it is, the collider is perfect. Now in order for this to block path, we just need to go into layer. Let's change it to the obstacles layer. And yep, let's also change the children. Okay, so that's all it takes to make this a solid object that blocks pathfinding. So with that, let's place it right around here. And just with this, if we hit on play, so here we are, and yep, right away that position is unwalkable. So if I go here and then try going there, yep, there we go, it does avoid the crate. Okay, so far so good. Now the goal is to make this destructible. So on the crate game object, let's make a script for it. So let's create a new C# script, call this the Destructible Crate. Let's attach it to the crate game object, and also let's make this a prefab so we can later on spawn multiple. So just drag it onto the prefabs folder, that's it, and let's open the script. Okay, so now over here, let's make a simple function to damage the crate. So a public void damage. And in here, if you wanted, you could apply some kind of health bar to this crate, so that's one possible design. But in our case, let's make it so it's destroyed just on a single hit. So when we have this, let's just call destroy on this game object. Okay, that's it, very simple. Now we just need to call this from somewhere. And for that, let's go into our grenade projectile script. So this is a grenade that flies around. Let's go down here to where we're damaging the units. So we do a physics overlap sphere to find all of the colliders within an area. Then we cycle through them if it's a unit with damage. So over here, let's just add another check for another type. So in this case, let's check for Destructible Crate. We do one out on this Destructible Crate, and if it is one of these, then let's just go into this and call damage. Alright, so that's really it. Let's test. So here, there it is, the crate. Now if I throw a grenade in there, boom, there you go, it does blow up and takes the crate with it. Okay, great. However, if we go back into the move action, yep, that one still shows as unwalkable. So if I click there and I go there, nope, it still avoids that position. So let's fix that. Now as to how we update pathfinding, we have another interesting design question. One approach would be directly here on the Destructible Crate script. Over here we could go into the pathfinding and tell it to upgrade this grid position. That would work, but again, that would mean that this script would be tightly coupled with pathfinding. So it works, but possibly not ideal. Another approach is to make the pathfinding listen to when the crate explodes and then update itself. But again, the same thing. In that case, the pathfinding would be tightly coupled to the crate. So let's go with the third approach, which is really the same thing that we did on the screen shake. So if we go into the screen shake action, we also made this third script that listens to event in one place and calls the screen shake. So let's do pretty much the same thing in order to update our pathfinding. Here in the editor, let's create a new C# script, call it the pathfinding updater. Let's create a new game object to run it, pathfinding updater. Let's drag the script, reset, transform, and open. And now here, let's listen to an event when the crate is destroyed. So let's make that event. Let's go into the Destructible Crate script, and over here let's make it public static event handler. So we need to add using system. And let's call this on any destroyed. Again, we're using static and making on any so that it refers to any destructible crate. And when we destroy, let's invoke this event. So this and event r.empty. Okay, we have this event. So now in the pathfinding updater, let's make a part void start. And here on start, let's go into the destructible crate. Access the on any destroyed, and let's listen into this event. So just make the function, use the light bulb, implement it, okay. So over here, it's super simple. We just need to go into the pathfinding, access the instance, and now we need a function in order to set a certain isWalkable. So let's go here into the pathfinding script. Let's go down to the bottom, and we've got a function to test if it is walkable. So let's copy this. Instead of returning bool, let's return void and call set isWalkable grid position. We receive a grid position and then a bool for the isWalkable. Then we just go into the grid system in order to get the grid object. And from this one, we call set isWalkable and pass in the isWalkable. Okay, so that's it, pretty basic. Now we just need to go back into our updater. So here on the script, let's call this function. And now that means we need to get the grid position. So for that, first we need to know the crate object, and that is actually going to be the sender parameter here. So let's define a destructible crate. We do our sender as destructible crate. Okay, so now we have this type, so now we just need this one to know the grid position. And for that, let's go here on this script and let's define it. So a private grid position for the grid position. And in here, let's go into our start. And on start, just go into the level grid, access the instance, get the grid position for this transform.position, and we store this as the grid position. Okay, now we just need to expose it. So just a public grid position for get grid position, and we just return this grid position. All right, so now we can finally go here. Let's go into the destructible crate, get the grid position, and let's set this one to walkable. Okay, that should do it. Some very simple logic, so let's test. Here we are, there's the crate and it's currently unwalkable. Now if I throw a grenade over there, boom, it blows up the crate, back into the move action, and yep, there you go, this position is now walkable. So I can walk anywhere where the crate used to be. All right, awesome. Okay, so here we added a really nice destructible crate to our game. When it's in the normal state, it blocks pathfinding, but then we can use a grenade to blow it up, and when destroyed, then the pathfinding now becomes walkable. So you could use these crates to make something like a secret area or some secret paths. Here we made all of the logic work, but the visual still looks very boring. The crate simply vanishes. So let's add some very satisfying destruction in the next lecture.